Lisa. In this video, we're going to talk about how do you choose a doctor if you're interested in the light adjustable lens, or LAL or LAL+. It's one in a series of videos we're doing about the LAL. In some of the other videos that are linked below, you'll see ones about what is the LAL, what are the pros, what are the cons, what did I go through as an LAL patient, the surgery, the recovery, the light adjustments. Now, I used to be a journalist writing for medical journals, mostly in the field of ophthalmology, but I am not a doctor. I am not a medical professional. So these videos shouldn't be taken as medical or professional advice. They are simply my experiences, my thoughts, and my opinion. So how do you choose a doctor or doctors? And I say doctors because you may find the doctor, the ophthalmologist, the surgeon that actually implants the lens in your eye is not the doctor who performs the light adjustments. And that's equally important. So don't think, oh, well, I have a great cataract surgeon, so we're good to go. In many cases these days, the surgeon who implants the lens may not be the person you're working with most closely over the next several months, not the person who will be doing the light adjustments, repeatedly checking your vision, doing the exacting work that's necessary to perfect your vision, to change that lens. That's likely to be a separate individual. In my case, an optometrist. And we'll discuss that in more detail in a moment. What are the obvious things that I considered critically important in choosing my LAL doctors? And I'm talking about things beyond the obvious things that you would look at before choosing any doctor. Solid medical training, excellent reviews, clean, well-run office, that sort of stuff. I'm talking about things that are more specific for choosing your LAL doctor. Training and experience. I wanted a cataract surgeon who was not just an experienced cataract surgeon, but also had a lot of experience performing LAL surgery. Now, I understand doctors all have to start somewhere. But in my case, I didn't want a surgeon who had just begun working with the LAL. While the LAL surgery itself is not dramatically different than cataract surgery with a regular lens, every lens has its idiosyncrasies and its challenges, including the LAL. So that brings up the question, how many surgeries are enough to be considered experienced? My surgeon had more than 100. Plus, he was involved in some of the earlier trials of the lens. So for me, I consider that experienced enough. But don't just check out the surgeon's training and experience. Find out if he or she is the one who will be doing the light adjustments. And if not, who will be? What's their training and experience? In my case, the surgeon did not do the light adjustments. Instead, he works very closely with a medical optometry practice that's actually located in his office. And the medical director there, who would be doing my adjustments, has literally done thousands, or more than 1,000 of these adjustments over several years. Again, that was a level with which I felt comfortable. Okay, so now we found somebody who has good experience. What have their results been? And what is their confidence in LAL outcomes? So let's talk about results. This can be a little harder to check out with hard data, but you can ask, what have their results been using the LAL? And not just what are their general results. That's all well and good, but I want to know what their results have been with patients like me. In my case, I'm a high myope. I had LASIK surgery back in the early 90s, vitrectomy about a year ago. Has the doctor worked with patients like me? And if so, what have the results been? How confident are they in achieving positive results in my case? Try to gauge whether they're overselling, oh yeah, well, you'll see like you've never seen in your life. It's going to be perfect. Or are they underselling? Or are they already giving up the ship, saying, well, the results are going to be bad. And they say that before you've even really gotten into it. So that's important. Results, and how confident are they in LAL outcomes? So what's next? Another component that I evaluated was, and to me this was critical, communication and compatibility. How well do you fit with your doctor? In the case of the LAL, that is probably more important than you think. Is that professional willing to partner with you in this LAL journey? And it is a journey. Do they treat you with respect? Do they listen to your concerns and then actually take the time to answer your questions and address those concerns? Or, do you feel rushed? Do you feel like nothing more than a number? Do you, a patient on an assembly line? Is the care personalized or generic? This LAL surgery is not one and done cookie cutter cataract surgery. To get the most out of your LAL, you really need that give and take between provider and patient, and over a period of weeks and probably months. Your future vision ultimately depends on these people listening to you and working with you to achieve the best possible results for you. What are your goals? Do you want to have clear vision up close so you can see that without your glasses? Or are you more intent on distance vision and you're okay wearing readers for close-up work? You and your doctor should be able to clearly and effectively talk about this so you are both targeted on a single goal. With each light adjustment, the doctor or light adjuster is going to make modifications to that lens to perfect your vision to the best possible prescription for you. And they need to be willing to take their time to allow you time to test out the vision, to neuroadapt, to not rush you to the final lock-in where no more changes can be made. Now, obviously, perfect vision at all distances is likely not possible. But how close you get depends on how well you work with your doctors and how well you all communicate. You only get so many adjustments before the lens prescription is final. So take your time to allow your eyes to settle. So how important was communication and compatibility for me? Really important. The first surgeon I went to, that I consulted with, probably has done more LAL surgeries than the surgeon I finally went with. But just in that first consultation with that first doctor, I just knew it wasn't going to be a good fit. Totally unscientific feeling. But it just felt like he wasn't interested in listening. Not listening to me, only about telling me the way things would be. Not interested in treating me as an individual, let alone a partner, So, quite frankly, I never went back. So, what's another thing I considered important to look at? Technology. And are the doctors up to date, on the latest research and approaches? The LAL is an ever evolving technology, and I wanted a practice that was staying up to date with the latest technology. And that means the latest lens itself, as it continues to change from the early lens, from the original to the addition of the active shield to the LAL plus and beyond. The lens, but also what about the light delivery device? They're constantly evolving. Do they have the latest light delivery device? Do they have the latest software on that device? And what about the doctors themselves? That's important. Remember, this is an ever-changing technology. Are the doctors keeping up with the latest in techniques for implantation, treatment of any subsequent posterior capsule opacification? Do they network with other professionals using the LAL so they continue to learn from each other, learn best practices? That's important. Next up, how do you keep yourself up to date? If your friends have already had cataract surgery, chances are they didn't have the LAL implanted because it's that new. So you really can't ask them to learn. So what do we do when we have something we want to learn about these days? Google it. If you do a Google search on the light adjustable lens, you will come up with a ton of links. Now, many of those links will be to, say, doctors' offices where they're saying how great the lens is and asking you to call them for an appointment. But they usually also have some really solid information on there about, what is the lens? What's the process? Good, solid, basic knowledge. So I would do that. The lens manufacturer itself, RxSight, also has a very helpful website for both patients and healthcare professionals. So I would check that out. I also searched articles in the medical literature. Now, you might not want to go that deep, but if you really want data and in-depth information, go to the medical press and professional journals. But you don't have to go that deep, Search for LAL focus pages on Facebook. There are a few. Patients going through the process post about their experience. They ask questions, and if the page is moderated by, say, an ophthalmologist who's very familiar with the LAL, you'll find some really helpful answers. And definitely search YouTube. There are a lot of videos out there about the LAL, but none that I could really find from the patient's perspective. So that's what this series of videos from me is all about. So check out my videos linked below and leave a comment and tell me if there's something else that you checked when determining where you wanted to go with your doctor. Ask me questions, and maybe they'll result in future videos. This is a fascinating journey, so let's keep talking.